So, hi everyone, and thank you for joining today. Today we are this is another hands-on session for all of you to learn more about DronaHQ and getting started with low-code app platform development. This DronaHQ platform, and this is our monthly live webinar, and this is our third episode. And we are focusing on this particular webinars for your own betterment so that you can learn more about DronaHQ platform and also can take the advantage of it. And over these series of the ongoing webinars, we will be covering through very different features and come up with different use case ideas, which you can take it as a reference for your day-to-day building with this DronaHQ. So before we jump into directly, so let me just tell you my name is Shibam Dhar and I am developer advocate of DronaHQ. And today we will go through a detailed platform walkthrough. Well, I'll make you understand what all features we have and what all things we can explore, or how much deep we can dive into with our DronaHQ platform, so that if each and everyone can get something better and can develop some astonishing apps. So let me just share my screen. Saloni, can you just confirm me if my screen is visible?
It's visible.
Okay. So before we go to our studio platform, let's just see what our DronaHQ website. So this is the landing website of DronaHQ. You can understand more about what all things are present here, right? You can check all the integration and templates we are currently having with us, and you can see that who all are customers and everything like that. And from our DronaHQ platform, you can check and book a demo for yourself also. Wait just a minute. Okay, so in case if you are if you are eager to learn about this and you want to book a demo, you can do it from here, and you can simply go to sign up to be able to use our studio platform. You just simply put your name, work email, and just build up with the further process, and this will provide you a 14 days trial plan where you can try out different connectors and build some apps for your own. So for login page, simply just click here once you have built your account, and this should take you to the studio. And since I've already opened it here, so let me just catch up. Okay, good. So this is our landing site for our studio platform, and here you can see that the whole design here is for you can find different aspects, like you have apps, connectors, and sheets. We will go one by one. So starting from app, so this is basically where you can see who all have built the app, what all apps you have built already. You can check it from here, and also you can go to templates. So templates is our section where we have some already built application layouts with some extent of functionality with databases and controls and other integrations with events and all the other trigger points, right? So we have approval queue, inspection, work order, customer communication, and much more. So you can just simply click here, view an app demo, and it will show you how this will be looked in on your screen, right? And you can see what is the logic behind it, the design and form factors, that which type of connector we are using. We are using PostgreSQL, SQL, and this will look something like this. So you can just simply click on it and work with it, or you can go back to my apps and simply click here and click on. So when you click on the blank app, it will just create a new app from very scratch without anything. And also, if in case you already have an existing app and a JSON format or some other format, you just click on import app, choose a JSON file, and this will import all the details if you already have an app. And okay, so let me just create a blank app for now. So what all things, app name, let's say platform. Well, so okay, All the dates. Okay, so this will open up our new app. Let's move ahead with the other things. So on our left hand side of the sidebar, we have next as connectors, right? So okay, before moving ahead with the connectors, so let me just get done with other thing. Just a second. Okay, so on the left hand side, we have several options like connector, sheet, automation, PDF creator, manage users, right? And just below that, we have all the things related to our community and support. So you can click here to join our Discord. You can check out all our documentations from here. So simply click here and this will take you to our community.dronahq.com portal where you have all the articles, the technical articles, the tips and tricks, courses and tutorials for you, where you can take reference to and learn more about all the features we have currently in our DronaHQ platform. And next we have talk to an engineer, just in case if you want to buy out a session for a one-on-one session with a developer, right? You can do it from here. You can click on support and raise a ticket from your ID, like in case you are finding something difficult and not able to figure it out how to do it, or some bugs is happen to be shown. And more or less, then we have community and these all things, right? So now let's go to our connectors, right? So connectors are basically the place where you have all the like where you can create where you can configure an connection between the studio platform to your databases or third-party APIs, right? And this is very quite interesting that DronaHQ platform provides you with so many variants of databases. uh, just let me hide it. Okay, so we have so many variants of databases, like starting from MySQL, Postgres, MongoDB, and whatnot, and just continuing it with APIs. So we have third-party APIs facility also for our connector configuration, and here you can find different types of third-party APIs. Like you can have Google Calendar, Google Cloud, Sheets, What 3-word, WhatsApp, and much more. And okay, so let me show you like how to exactly let me get some details regarding, let's say I want to connect MongoDB, right? Let me show you how to actually configure this connector. So I will try to show you with the help of MongoDB database. Just give me a minute, I think. Yeah, okay, just let me copy the string. Okay. So so while configuring a connector or third party or anything, you just have to first create a connection, right? And for that, you might be required to provide details as username, password, or also you may be required to log into your account. Like, so there are few third party APIs connectors which require you to log into the account. So for name, let's say I want to do as a employee, EMP employee, and let's say feature, just to make it a bit different. And so while connecting the MongoDB, you can see there are two options. Like either you can provide a connection string, which you can easily access from your MongoDB platform, or you can provide host, port, and database, all these details separately. So I'll just press and paste the connection string here. So that should do. Some internet issue, just give me a minute. Okay. Let me again copy and paste it here. Just give me a minute. I think it's hanging right now. Wait a minute. Let's let me click on back and again do it later on. Okay. I'm just stopping my screen share for just a second. Okay. Screen is hanging. Okay, so let me just continue with it. I think some there is a internet issue, so that's why it is not also like it is getting too much of not responding right now. Okay, so let me just continue. I'll move back to it later on. Okay, so now moving on to, let's say if you have already configured the connector, so you will find it just here, right? So you will have all the details of the connector which you have provided there as a configured one. So let's say you have already configured this particular connector, you will have several options. So first of all, you have add query. So there is some different variants to that. It is either add query or you will find add as an API. Let me show you. So here you can see it is showing as add API, and the very common like basic difference is that add query is there for your databases and the add API is there for all your third-party APIs, right? So just when you click there, it will open up the query or API builder, and you can just put it up there like how you want to add the subcategories or some subcategory APIs, right? And also add query, you can add different queries to any of the connector. You can provide write your query name, and see how the status is working. So this is all about connectors. Let me just close it. And now let's go to our app builder, right? So the main part is our app builder, because this is where we do all the magic and perform our variations with several controls and connectors so that we will be able to build some micro apps, right? So this is our app builder. And the first thing, let's start like from the sidebar panel. So for first thing we have as a screen, and also this particular is a home screen where you have like three options. Like you can already see, if you have created this app and you want to use some ready selected templates, you can click here, and the template list which we have seen earlier will be just loaded right away. And we have auto generation form, auto generation CRUD, SQL. So these are all things we have already built. Now, if I tell you more about auto generate form, it is basically like when you click there, you simply have to select a connector, or you can select it from sheet, PDF, and controls. So this what does, you provide it some database and it will create you a whole form idea, right? So it will create make you help to build a whole form. So you can select it from there. You have all the connectors which you have configured earlier. So if I just click there and wait, my internet. So and click from the table. So we have different tables. So this particular MySQL database has these types of table. You can just simply, let's say I choose employee and click on next. So these all are the columns name which it is getting like it is getting detected from our backend, the database. We are having the column name and the detected type, like what type it is, an integer or a varchar or something like that. And you can add your own more column names and simply click on next. You can provide it a title, my form or something. Let's say, and create a query, generate form. So now you can see that a whole form has been built based on your database itself. So this is the main functionality of the like this is the main functionality of the feature which we have for auto generate form. And moving ahead, like when we click on screen, you can see that we have an add option. So these add options helps you to create screen, pop-up, menu, trays, and folders. So these all types of screen which you can have in or put it in your own micro app. And since we are already having present on a screen one, we have some properties on our right hand side. So we have header. You can like simply put it there, or you can just make it vanish. It's all up to you. We have body, we have footer, and also events. So in the events, we have screen routing, screen open, screen close. So these events are basically dependent on the what exactly the feature is about. Let's say if we are working with a screen, then we have like what happens if the screen opens. So if the screen opens, you want to put up a, let's say, pop-up. So you can provide it from here, like just click there and click on plus and provide it as on screen as well. And I think we will cover it later also with the help of controls. So similarly, we have all these events just for the screen. So all the events are dependent on the feature basis. If it's a screen, different events. If it is a control, different events, right? Let's now next move on ahead with the control part. Now the control is very essential for a micro apps, like, because whatever we do, controls are must. Like if you want to build a UI, if you want to fetch the data, if you want to show the data, if you want to make it available as a direction, routing, something, anything. So the controls are very much required here. Now in the controls, most of the time we have like input controls, like test input, and we also have numeric. So the input controls are basically where you get the data or the details from the user, like end user itself, right? So these are types of input controls. And then we have some display controls, right? So you can also find it right under here. So if you want to show a profile, or just simply want to show a JSON data, or you want to provide a heading for your micro app, so you also have this here. So this is like a profile, and this is a heading. I think the JSON didn't drop. So also you can just do a simply drag and drop. So I'll just drag it and put it here, the JSON viewer. So as you can see, it is not exactly taking any input from the end user, but it is showing something, right? So that data can be provided using different methods, and we will cover that too also. Okay, now moving on ahead with some more controls. So there are some interesting controls also, and also some controls which are dedicatedly built for mobile applications, right? So in our native, these are some of the interesting controls, like we have the GPS, we have the signature, we also have an image compressor. So you just use them for your micro app building experience. And for the mobile application, I'll say we have barcode scanner. If you are building an app, mobile app, and you provide this is very much functional on your mobile application, right? And also we have there is a very special one, NFC reader, right? NFC reader. So we also have an NFC reader, right? So this also works for the mobile. If you have an NFC device and you want to provide it some crisp detailing with a string or something, you can use it. And in case if you are thinking like how to work with all this control, as I told earlier, we already have every article or every tutorials regard with respect to all the controls we have in our DronaHQ platform, the studio platform. You can find it on our community page. Okay, now we have some like different and very popular controls, I must say. It is like, let me just clear the screen a little bit. Okay. So we have table grid control. So our table grid control is very much like versatile with so many functionalities as much I can see. Like you can find everything in this table grid control, like starting from if you want to showcase the display, if you want to take, like it can act as a display control. It can also act as an input control. You can take input data from our end users also, and also you can edit it. You can make changes through the database and all those things, right? Okay, and we also have some more graphical type control. Let me show you. Actually add a screen for this so that it will be easily visible to you all. Like we have a line of charts which you can use for your, I don't know, you can use it in your admin dashboard, or you can use it for making an app for to show status and more. So we have this, this is our charts. We have pie charts, we have line charts, lines and bubbles, bar and line, donut chart, radar chart, and much more, right? Okay, now there is one more control, which is just there, like it is under advanced section, and it is called as a data store. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this, like it is kind of interesting control, because it is in neither input control, like you end user won't be able to take part in this thing, in this data store control, or either you also cannot show anything with this control. So what does it do? The main idea of using this control is to store data. Like if I just go here and click on controls, sorry, and just go here and go to its data bind section, I can just provide it some data, and it will be stored in this particular control. So it can be used later on to fetch some data like quickly, to perform some SQL like queries. Like you can perform some queries on this particular data store. Like in case if you want to do some filtration, you want to do some arrangement, some alteration, so you can do it with the help of this control, right? Okay, now we have been talking about our controls, right? But what about how its configurations, like how it should look, what our properties it has? So on the right hand side, first option we get for them is for the properties, and the first thing we have info. So the info, it tells you like the type of the control, right? So unique name. So unique name is basically a keyword which you can use to refer this particular control throughout your this app. So wherever you go, in whichever screen you go, you can list this particular control with the help of this particular keyword, or you can say unique name. So we have label, tooltips, description, and much more. And there is one more property, and this is app external CSS. So this is quite interesting. Like although we have some properties changing rules, like we have, like we can set its color, the properties for the table header, alignment, and all the color and theme. But in case if you want to provide some of your own CSS from hard-coded type, so you can do it from just clicking on apply, click here, and it will open up your code editor, selecting this particular controls class names. So these are the class names which are responsible for the table grid control. So you can provide it different types of CSS properties and attributes. So let me just put it off for now. I don't require it. Okay, so since we are using table grid control, there are very much there are many properties which are present for table grid control. So you have adding search bars and download option, quick filters. You can select which all columns you want to make available for editing purpose. And the next part is okay. Okay, so the next part is data bind. Now we have the control, we have set the properties. Next important part is to provide it some data. So under our data properties or bind data section, we have different types of methods through which you can bind the data. So we have static data. As you can see, it is already present there. We have sheets. You can select the sheets which is present in your studio account. You can just select that. You have all the options you can select from. And we have other options also. Let me close this drop down. So you can either choose it from a control as a you just click on control, you select the screen which from where you want to fetch the data, and you can select the control. So you can see there is a drop down opened here, and these two options are the unique words. So as I told earlier, you can refer it with the help of the keywords. So these are the unique words. You have variables and keywords, you have logged in user, you have connectors. So let's try connector. Now on connector, you simply click on select connector. And let me choose a connector. Let's say this one. Okay. You select the query which is present for your connector. Get data. You can simply click on continue, and this is the query for this particular connector, like select star from order details. This is a MySQL query, and you can check the click on refresh response. I have to check. Oh, it's again not responding. Okay. So this is the data which is present like in our this particular table of this database. So we have IDs and this all things. So you are viewing the raw response right now, and it's all under result.rows. Let's click on. So we next have the transform response option. So transform response is basically you get a JS code editor where you can work with the help. You can further work with the data which you are receiving from your database. So basically, if you want to do some filtration, you want to add some, if you want to perform some libraries like changing the Unix, converting the Unix time format, converting the date formats, or want to add some default data, so you can do it from here. So right now, let's see what is our transform response. Let me click here. So we have the data is like this, table view like the, okay. Now let me try out some transformation. It is a basic transformation just to show you how this JavaScript code editor helps you. So now when I click on transform response, you can see that the result and rows are been removed. It is now basically ID, order ID, and like this, right? So let me come here. We have transform keys, cursor based pagination, and this part is very much important, and you will find it with most of the connector binding with the controls. So what is basically, let me do a test here first. Test this as well. So the select column to bind helps you to bind the columns from your database which you want to pivot it on your control respectively, right? So if I want to show, I want to put ID, order ID, customables, and these all columns in our table grid, it will show all these columns. And if I just remove one, it will not show it there. So let me do a test and finish just to show you how it is working. Hopefully it will work well. And here we are. We have the order ID, customer detail, and order details like that, right? So we have connectors, we have custom formulas. You can provide some different types of formulas, and this is, as I told you, you can do it with the help of data store control also. And next, for this particular control, we also have format data. Now format data, if I want to tell you in a very easy way, it is very much helpful to provide a basic formatting for your data, like what type of data you are having in this particular table grid, right? Let me show you. Let's say in our order details, we have a JSON type data, right? As we can see in the back. So let me select order details. Click on so we have text type, number type, URL, toggle, single tag, and we have the whole list going on. So I don't want this, I just want JSON, right? Now expected value should be JSON. Okay, now let me do a finish. So now you can see that here it is showing as an object, right? So this particular whole column has been formatted, it's been set to as a JSON. So now the table grid is understanding that that particular column is having a JSON format data type. Okay, now, so there is one more thing I would like to tell you about. So in the controls, there is also, we have as a marketplace. So here you can like select from variants of design. Like we have like astonishing colors and very much catchy layouts for all your works, which you can do or put it into use for your micro app. You have buttons, different types of buttons, you have alerts, different types, like what all you can do. And one more thing is that we also provide you a platform where you can build your own controls too. So just go there and click on let's start. It will take you to studio.dronahq.com control designer, and from this particular page you can create your own design. Just simply click here and create your own event, create your own properties and everything. So it is basically like a whole segment for you to work with building up the controls. Okay. Okay, so now we are done with the controls. We're also done with the properties, like what all things we have. Now let's move on to the events part, as we have already discussed the data segment. Okay, so now event is basically, as you can see that we have number of events present here, like row select, add, click, and all these things. So as I've told you earlier, the events are basically dependent on the type of control which we are trying to use. Like this particular control table grid has different types of events which are present there. Like if you want to trigger some action depending on the row select, or you want to trigger some action depending on the delete click button present in your micro app, so this will work. Now let's just see like what exactly events we are having. So if I just go up to the update data. Okay, now let me show it with the help of some working part. So I'll just grab and I'll just select and drop the button here and go to its event and the button click event. So there's only single event which we are having right now for the button. So on button click, we are getting the whole like action builder, you can say. And between the start and the end, it is like when you trigger an action, the first thing and the end, all the things you can add in between. Just click on the plus sign here. You have two options to select from. Either you can select from the on-screen actions, or you can select from server-side actions. Now on-screen action had different segmentations. Like we have the edit. If you want to duplicate some action which is already present in your some other screen, right? So it might be possible you are trying to just use the same events which you are already configured earlier. You can also use a move. You can also import an action flow, and it works on like that. Next, we have logic. So in logic, some of the names are very much explainable on its own. And but let me show you few, like we have this branch. So when you click on the branch segment, you will notice that when event gets start, it will divide into two different branches, or you can just add more branches to it. So each branch you can provide some valuable conditions, right? So let's say if the branch is basically, yeah, so the branch is basically, let's say if it should be work in a offline mode or something. Sure. So let's say you are creating a micro app, and the first situation you arise that what if the mobile app is in offline mode. So you can just click on here. So it is on offline. You can just provide it from here, like yes, it should be offline or something like that. And In this way, when the action gets triggered, only the offline mode branch will get carry forward on. Next, we have navigate options, like on the click of button, if you want to navigate to some other screen, you can do it from there. You can do some set routing URLs. You can have some URL open. So if you just click here, paste the URL, like if you were just saying, okay, I want to, if someone clicks on the button, I want to go www.google.com, it will work as like that only. And when you click on next, it will provide you when to execute. So when to execute is basically providing it another condition, which on met true will only trigger this particular action, right? Okay. Let me delete this action. I don't require it at the moment. Now let's see what all. Okay. Now it's not scrolling. Okay. So we have bunch of other actions also. We have native actions to send a call, to send SMS, to send an email. And we have dialogues like, let's say, pop-up, if click, it should be success, perfect. Okay, so this is a pop-up which I've added. And this is the process how to add a on-screen action, and you have bunch of several other options also. You can show a control, you can hide a control, you can change the state, set controls to a value, and all this thing. In case if you're wondering how to understand all of them, again, we have a dedicated community articles based on this. You can refer to there. And next, the other part is server-side action. So server-side action is nothing much different. It's basically to interact with the database or the connectors which you have configured earlier. So I just go here. First, we have DronaHQ services. Like you want to call in workflow, you want to upload a file. These are just inbuilt DronaHQ services, right? Next, we have custom API connectors. So in here, you can select from the connectors which you have configured and select the query which you want to trigger on this particular action. So if there is a connector which is retrieving some data of my employees. So when I click on the button, this particular connector API will run on a trigger action of on click button, and all the details will be fetched. Connector call will be happened, right? So connector call will be carried forward. So these all things are under events and actions. Let me just put it down. So now that we have done with the controls, let's move ahead. Next, we have connectors. So this left-hand sidebar is nothing much complicated. It's just a list of all the connectors which you have configured, which you have already configured. Let's say if you just click here, you will also see all the queries which is there. And you can also, if you are not willing to go back or go to the landing page of a studio account, you can just simply click here as a plus connector. You will have all the options. You can configure a new connector right away. Let me put it close for now. And the next part is in use. So in use is basically which all connectors you are using in this particular screen. It is nothing much different, just the name as it simplifies the particular connector which is getting used. Okay, so next we have rules. Now, when I talk about rules is basically, let me show you. Let me click on plus new. So rules is basically if and else case, or else if case. So if there is something and the value is null and you don't want it to be shown, you can do it right here. So so text input, you can select from the operator like is equal to equal where equals to, let's say, value, and I say no, null, right? If this condition is true, right? So what I want to, let's say, hide. I want to hide numeric. So if the text input is null, the numeric control will get hidden. But if the text input is not null, then I want it to be shown. So you can just simply click on add reverse of true. So now the show event has been applied and the particular control. So this is the basically like the feature of how is getting work for a rule feature. Okay, I don't want to save it right now. Let me just cross it. No. Next, we have data. Now, the data section is basically helps you to add variables and the form of it helps you to add variables, like you can provide it some data. Let me show you. Let me delete this. So currently we have two options, data and custom JavaScript. Further options are on the way and they will soon be added to our studio account. So what happens, like the data, first we provided a name, let's say name. So this is the name of our variable. So variable as a data, and I would say, so this is a string value which you have provided, and you can also set it like you want it to be persistent or you want to make it non-persistent as per what is happening, and it will get changed on the regular basis. So you can see the persistent data as variable are those which rather retain their values across multiple macro apps. So I don't want it to be persistent right now. So I'll just do a save. Let me show you how you can work with it. So if I just go to text input, click here, go to his data bind section, and there is an option of variables and keywords. So right now I've just added a variable named as name. Yes, just get select. Click on save. You can see the data has been changed here automatically, right? So how is it happening? So earlier I have provided a variable name. I have created a variable of name and provided my own name like Shibam, and now I have bound that particular variable with this with the help of bind data section variables and keywords to this particular control. So you can all correlate with each other and interlink it with each other. So these all part was for our left hand side, right? Now if I go, and the right hand side is also covered, and we also have the duplicate control. If you just click here, let me go down, there is another control has been added. You can copy a control, you can paste a control, you can also simply delete a control. Just click here, delete a control. Now on the top bar, right? So in the top bar we have undo and redo. It is very much explanatory. This is also a feature. And next we have a view, like in which view you want to develop your micro app. So you can select from a desktop view or you can select from mobile portrait view. So this is how it would look in your mobile if this apps get published. You will be able to understand, right? Like how to align the UI for the controls. Next, we have, let me start with the preview. Now, preview helps you to view the app, how it will look to the end user, how it will perform, and for the end user, and it will help you to get the gist. It's for the UI and all the functionality. Let me show you. So this is getting load. Meanwhile, let me tell you what all options and features we have for the preview itself. The first thing is you can change from the users. So these all users are there currently in my studio account. You can see there is a Fennel or Arnab and more people. So you can change the user, like who is working on this particular or viewing this app. Next, we have screen. If I click on screen, and click on screen 2, it will go to the screen 2 where I put the chart. Let me go back to screen one. Next, we have mobile view or the desktop view. Now we have logs. This is basically for, again, it's getting hang. Just a second, guys. Let me click on it. It's getting hang. Okay, so here is our connector logs. So connector log is useful to provide to help the user to understand what all connectors are getting used and what is the status, what is its data type, which is the initiator of this particular connector, and you can see the timeline, how much long it took to provide the status of 200, like a success status. You can see watch list, like what all variables are dependent on this, which username is currently working on it, and table grid properties available here. You can just simply click it, you can view this. So this is basically useful for our debugging purpose. And next we have this thing, you can select from the screen and select like what all things there, and we have a refresh and then a cross. Okay, so let me show you the actions which we have configured. Let's see. So the table grid is working right now. It has fetched the data on a real-time basis with the help of firing the connector. And if I click on action, perfect, it's a click. So remember, we have earlier configured this in our button events, right? So let me just click on done. Just a minute, guys, it's getting load. Okay, now moving ahead, we have more options. First, the publish. So when you click on publish, so publish helps you to save this version of the micro app and help you to share this particular version of micro app also. And this is like basically provides you to maintain a version control system for your own micro app. So in case later on you want to roll back to a previous version, you can do it with the help of checking with the release note and the published version. So right now, let me just, let's say so the publishing has been started. So let's just wait. It will take just a few seconds and this will be done in a gist. I think my internet issue is there. Okay, so publish has been done successfully, right? Next to the publish, we have preview, and next to that we have share option. Now share option is very much like important feature, which is like basically helps you to share your micro app. So there are different segments which we have. First is adding user. So you have to understand that adding user is basically when you add the user, that this app will be accessible to that particular user itself. You can check, you can do an organizational access, like provide it a name, email, and user role, like which type of role you want to provide this particular user. So let's say if I want to add Jacob as a user, which is my friend for this particular app, and I want him to be an administrator, I will just click here and he can modify all the settings, edit the apps and everything. So this is a main use like feature which is very much useful to help you to share your micro app. Next we have the public link. Now the public link is we have a toggle button. If I just click here, public access, then this link below, will be accessible to anyone. Now, if this link is provided to your friend, then he will be able to view this application, right? Now we have end user portal. So you can view your apps in the end user on the below platform login with your credentials. Now, what does it mean? So in the web, this is our studio account. But if I just click here, okay, it will take me to apigenie.io. So this is a whole web account where you can view all the published apps. So it will be not a app builder. It will be not shown as an app builder or a admin point of view, but it will be shown as a user end user point of view. Now we have iOS and Android. You just simply have to download the app. Next, let me just do this. And we have configurations. So under configurations, there are list of settings which you can use to help yourself with the app, to understand the app, to provide it some level of coloring, icons, naming, and all this thing. So I'll just quickly tell you about few of the settings. Like we have query setting. So query settings helps you to send parameters as a query. So here, like you can just simply click here, add queries, add query string. It will provide you an option. So you can just provide a keyword and a keyword value, and this will be saved. Next, we have, let's say I want to tell you about routing. Now, routing is a very interesting feature which we have right now. The routing helps you to do navigation, right, and help you to move ahead from one page to from one state to another. And this is very much useful when you are trying to get the variables or the values. So you can provide its labels and put a remove labels and more. So, and also we have our embed settings. So embed setting is also like a part of sharing the app. Like you can either share it with a link, or also you can do it with the help of embedding it. So you can have it as an iframe for your own website. Let's say you can have it as a, so you can set up some tracking to it, like camping URL website tracking. And also you can do it with the help of embed security option. So you have all the steps like generate a SSO token and provide this particular SSO authorization token and follow the steps. And this will, in this way, you will be embedding your micro app in your website in a secure and more authentic way. Okay, so these all are things. Let me just quickly. Cross it down. Okay, now we have data environments. You can select from all the environments which you have. You can create like production, staging, and development and more. And let's go back to our studio. So in the studio, there is one more thing which I like to show you, so all of you. There is the manage users. So earlier I have told you, like if you are trying to add a user, you can do it from there. But we also have a dedicated section for managing the users which are present there. Why is it getting closed again? Okay, so here you can see there are a list of users which you can check. You can see their name, you can see their email, the groups they are in, the roles they are having, the last active session they had. So on the top, you have the add user option. You can simply provide username, password. You can give them your own password. So you can select from auto activate with custom password. So if they have the right password, it will get automatically activated, or you can provide it an auto activate login with Google credentials. So you have all these options. So send me email. So it will send an email to this particular user that this is your initial signing password is this, and you have to log into this particular website to view this particular app or to access these all apps. Next, we have the users. You can change the user details. You can do some edit users. You can provide it a groups. Like you can simply sort them out in a group basis, and you can also do a manage groups. So what all groups are there? Admin group, sample test, and more. You can add your own groups. Next, we also have an SSO, like single sign-on option, and the SSO configuration provides you with two main facility and vastly used. The first is SAML and second is OAuth. So testing is very much straightforward also, but in case if you are not able to understand or you are not able to figure it out how to configure, let's say SAML configuration SSO SSO with Okta. So you can just simply go to our community website. There is again, I'm saying there is a dedicated article based on this, and we also have some account settings where you can check, let's say, analytics of I want to see some app analytics, right? So I'll just go there, click on app analytics and wait for it to load. It will tell me like who all are using, what is the distribution, how is the performance, and everything. Like you can see total user 177, logged in 22, login pendings, this groups, container open, time spent. So it will give you the whole app related analysis. And we have extension, the control designer, which I've told you earlier. We have the billing, account settings, the branding, the names, the security you provide, the key management. You can provide it SSS key management, managing the environments, catalogs. And also you can check your billings, like which category you are currently right now, what is the ending day of your subscription, and more. And finally, we have the logout option. So yes, guys, so this was basically the whole run through of our features present in our DronaHQ platform. And I will be like glad, I will say that it has come to an end. In case you have any sorts of question, you can raise it in your chat section. And yeah, that would be all. Over to you guys, Saloni, if you are there. Thank you.